we got Jenna back here. So let's see what Jenna's got for us.
How you doing, Jenna?
Hey, Sterling, how are you?
Fantastic.
Fantastic. The reason I was calling is because I actually think this is such an important conversation. I find that one of the biggest killers in the mood, like when you're trying to set a mood, is a guy who can't really help you get there because he can't use his words effectively. So one of the things, like I was the one who super chatted earlier. I actually do phone for a living. So like I come across it a lot, and I think what you're doing is so important because men don't, you're not, there's something.
That's you, Lena?
Yeah.
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 Okay. So you're a phone sex operator?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So I spend a lot of time listening to men's fantasies. So learning how to just kind of articulate certain things in certain ways, it works the same way with women. Like you were talking about it earlier, like the thing with being called daddy. We like the dominance aspect that you were talking about. We love that. But not a lot of men are comfortable or confident enough to do it properly. So just from a female perspective, instead of a guy like yourself coming in front of me and going, I want you to take off your clothes and I want you to do it now. When you do it with your confidence, my response is going to be, yes, daddy. If somebody else does it, I'm going to be like, oh, okay.
But he wouldn't say it like, and he wouldn't say it like I would, Jenna. He'd be like, take your, can you take your clothes off? He'd have that hesitation in his voice.
Exactly. I experience it all the time. And you would even think that when men are paying for a chance to live out their fantasy with you, that they would have a little more confidence doing it. Even in those cases, you would be surprised how little imagination the average person has.
Yep.
Or the average male has. But I really appreciate what you're offering.
Thank you. Can I ask you something? I want to ask you a question because I've asked this question to porn stars that I've interviewed before. How, if you're in bed with a man and he, forget even that he's not dirty talking, right? If he makes absolutely no noise in the bedroom, how does that make you feel?
That is one of the biggest mood killers you could possibly imagine. Guys, I'm not even, if there's one thing, the same way that you guys want a response from us, we want a response from you. So a guy who's like pounding away and like, you could tell that this is like his first shot at sex in a really long time. It's so uncomfortable. Like you would be surprised how little you guys have to actually do to show us that you're interested in us sexually. So for example, there is nothing more, at least for me, there's nothing sexier for me than like if you're laying on your back, he's right on top of you and he just leans into your ear and all you hear is fuck.
Yeah.
That's enough.
This because there are so many guys who are even shy about just moaning and groaning in the bedroom.
It's so uncomfortable.
Taking it to dirty talk.
It makes you so uncomfortable. It makes you so insecure, and also a lot.
Can you say that? Sorry to try to like hamp on the point, but it makes you feel insecure? Is that correct, Jenny?
Yeah, because it's. Have you ever watched the show Sons of Anarchy?
No, I have not.
There's a line in it that the mother says, and it's very, very true. Men want to know that you love them, and women want to know that you want them. We want to feel wanted, and when you don't kind of give us that response, especially since, like, face it, the majority of women, we live our lives feeling very insecure. And sex brings out most of our insecurities. That's why after a certain age, a lot of us want to have sex with the lights off because we have a lot of things going on with us. So little things, especially if you're the strong silent type, just moaning a little something in her ear, just a little bit of just something. Like I personally enjoy dirty talk and I've always been good at it. That's part of how I got into what I do now. But it's amazing how little you guys communicate. And I think a lot of that bleeds into your relationship problems too.
Jenna, do you know any women that don't like dirty talk?
There is the only women who don't like dirty talk are women who are genuinely, and I mean this, dead inside.
Well, thank you for the glowing recommendation, Jenna.
Thanks, Jenna.
Thank you, Sterling.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
It's always good to have a woman call in on the show.
That's
You know,
good.
ladies, the show's open for everybody. You know, young, old, man, woman. Feel free. It's
And
it's
you know,
what we do here.
the reason I asked Jenna that question was because when I have asked female porn stars the exact same question, they've said basically the exact. She mentioned this idea of making her feel insecure. They've used similar language. They've said things like, "If he's not making any noise at all, I don't think he likes me."
Right.
Even though his erect penis is inside of her, she still isn't. She's like insecure about that because you're not expressing your desire and your enjoyment of her.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about noise and the volume and the intensity of it is like women are generally louder than men. I think I think the term is female copulatory vocalization from Evo Psych.
Yes.
And you know, we can get into all those reasons some other time, but you don't want to be silent. I mean, you don't want to go beyond her, but definitely come up to her, you know, when it comes to your volume and intensity level. Don't sit there like a mute.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And look, if you need to start, if that is like bare minimum starting point for guys is like, okay, learn to be expressive and moan and groan a little bit. Like I do this thing where I friggin' growl during sex, and I don't even know I'm doing it. I've had so many girls call me out on it. Like, they'll say they're not making fun of me. They'll say, "I love the way you growl," and I'm like, "I do what?" And I don't even know I'm doing it.
Go and have you seen Eddie Murphy's stand up? I think it was in Delirious where he was talking about that part of the sequence. Did you ever see that stand up?
Yeah.
Oh, you got to see it. Go watch Eddie Murphy Delirious. You're gonna love it. It's an old '80s one, but it still stands true today, right? I mean, like, get it right through your head, guys. That if you want to have a good experience with women, if you want to have them coming back for more, if you want to lean into areas that are fun and entertaining and erotic, you have to get playful, right? Like you can't cookie cut it. And you know, the guys that get into the cookie cutter type of relationships and the very vanilla type of sexual intimacy and the encounters, they don't generally last that long. I mean, you're not getting her best, you know, you're just getting. And that's very different from getting her best.
And once you start practicing this stuff, you will start enjoying it as much, if not more, than she does. Like the act of engaging in that is going to be fun and enjoyable for you and arousing for you just as much as it is for her.
Yeah.
So you're leaving so much on the table.
Yeah.